Hi everyone, welcome back to the Denied by the Crossbar podcast. I'm your host Daryl, and I'm here with Lee. How you doing, bro? You good?
Very good. Another exciting weekend.
Another exciting weekend. More last-minute winners, drama, chaos, and in my case, despair. But yeah,
Yeah, unfortunate, but it's happening to both of our teams at the moment.
I know we're both struggling. Okay, we'll start at Wolves. Burnley winning against relegation candidates, which is good for them. Looks like Victor Pereira struggling. Lee, talk to me.
Wolves' poor form just continues to go on, and their winless streaks is just dragging now. I think we saw at the end of the game the frustration from the fans. There was a clip online of Pereira really giving it to the fans. And when you go 2-0 down at home and bring it back to 2-2, that seems like something's changed there. But then the second hand teetered out. No one scored until the 95th minute. Burnley had a snatch and grab, but it isn't good enough. It's like the 2-0 down isn't good enough. To bring it back to 2-2, when you're 2-0 down, that's okay. Like you would have taken the draw, but then to lose it at the end, heads have dropped. And yeah, look, last year we thought Wolves were lucky to stay up. They haven't improved. They've lost key players. They haven't really made a difference. And now I think they're going to be in a bit of an issue, Daryl, where Pereira signed a new contract. I don't know what that means for his position at the club.
Yeah, well, we discussed this a few weeks ago when they gave him the new contract about 2 or 3 months ago. Do you remember? We said, what's going to happen if this turns sour? So now they've got a new manager on a new contract, probably a 2 or 3 year deal. What happens? So they're at the bottom of the league now. Let's just say they're 6-7 points adrift at Christmas. Do they pull the trigger? Or do they think, right, we've signed him on a new deal. He's going to take us down and bring us back up next year. We're going to look. It's not looking good for them. That's the problem that we thought. This signing a new contract this early was a bit of a problem, you know.
Yeah, it was early to do it. They obviously wanted to lock him in and make a bit of a statement. This is our guy. We trust in him. But that's backfired very quickly. And if they don't see a change between, I think, now and Christmas, the league's going to be gone for them. They're going to be in a real scrap for the second half of the season. They haven't looked on it in any game they've played so far this season. And if fans have started to lose faith now with the manager, I'm sure the dressing room, there'll be heads turning. You know, there's going to be a bit of upset, if not quite a lot already. It's not going to go well. But fair play to Burnley, because if it's a relegation 6-pointer for Wolves, it's a relegation 6-pointer for Burnley. It's an amazing win for them, a snatch and grab right at the end of the game. And look, Burnley are going to look at this game at the end of the season, and I think Burnley could stay up thanks to games like this, especially if Wolves are going to be the one to go down instead of them.
Yeah. Well, Burnley are winning games around them, aren't they? They beat Leeds last week. They've beaten Wolves again. So that's what you need to do. Beat the teams around you, or at least try and win your home games. They're doing a bit of both. So they've definitely got a good chance. Like you said, they're bottom of the league. They've got 2 points. Is there any chance they're doing Southampton on the point system from last year? Because, mate, 9 games, no wins, 2 draws after 9. It's not looking good, mate. I tell you.
I mean, the record sounds awful, but it gets worse when you look at their goals scored and conceded. 19 goals conceded, 7 scored. They've actually not got as bad of a goal difference as West Ham by 1 goal, but it's just not enough. And yeah, like you say, they haven't won yet in 9 games. So that win has to come soon, because there's a gap already forming above them, and it's going to get harder and harder to chase the teams above them if they don't start to do something new.
See, the problem with this is, you see, Leeds are losing, but they're winning. They're getting draws. They're picking up every now and then. They get a little buzz. They've won. The crowd get up. With Wolves, there is no lift. Well, the players' heads must be dropping at the point where they're thinking, "Look, are we getting a victory this year? It's just nearly a 10 out of 10 games. It's 9 games now without a win. It's not looking good. It's worrying times for Wolves, and it's a shame, like I said, with that contract. And I don't know. It's one of those ones. If they was to go down, you'd have to think, can they come up straight away? Probably. Exactly. There's so many big teams down there that when you go down, you're kind of scared for those teams that go down in the Championship. It's so hard.
Well, this is the thing, and I think before the start of the season, we all were looking at the newly promoted teams to not perform as well as it was to our own standards, but as we expected, to not perform as well as the rest of the Premier League teams and go straight back down. Well, Wolves and West Ham are certainly helping the situation for them teams. Nottingham Forest aren't close behind. But when a team like Sunderland have gone on to do what they've currently been doing in the league, sat fourth in the league, it completely throws everyone's predictions out of the water. And especially over this weekend where they've gone and stolen a win at Chelsea, late again from them. But when you compare, like we've just said, I mean, Burnley, yeah, they're beating the teams around them, but they're sat 16th. Then you've got Wolves and West Ham sat rock bottom, basically. Sunderland is still up there, fourth now in the league, 5 wins, from 9 games. Bizarre how different it is, and fair play to them because they're doing so well now.
Yes, that takes us nicely on to Chelsea. Sunderland, Chelsea lost at home 2-1, 93rd minute winner. What can we say about the Sunderland team that we've not said already? They never give up. This Regis Labrie, this is positive character, this is instilled in them. They're just, mate, I'm running out superlatives for this team at the moment, you know?
Yeah, going 1-0 down in the 4th minute isn't easy, ever. It feels like you've just started a game of football, 1-0. You're already at a disadvantage. But it was 22 minutes for Isidore to score the equaliser. And from there, it was just a good game of football. Chelsea did look dominant, but it doesn't matter because they weren't breaking Sunderland down and scoring. So you can look as dominant as you want, but if Sunderland are going to soak up all that pressure and on the 90th minute go for it and get a goal, doesn't matter what you do with the ball, does it? You've got to be scoring goals, especially when you're at home and especially when you're Chelsea playing Sunderland. It doesn't matter how good your form is. Chelsea are pushing for top 4. They're not in top 4 and Sunderland are.
I love it. I'll tell you what, Saturday night, Sunderland was second in the table. They might be sitting 4th now on 17 points, but on Saturday night, they were second in the Premier League. You know what impressed me most about Sunderland? It was when it got to the 70th, 80th minute, they weren't, and it was a 1-1 draw. Most teams would have been happy to take that point. We're at Stamford Bridge. We've just come up. Every point, we're trying to get to 40, that magic number. But no, they went and they pushed and they had the confidence within themselves to go and get that win. Yeah. So impressed. I was just like, mate, what can you say? Love it.
In terms of like, definitely. It's the team the podcast follows for sure. Yeah. But in terms of like being happy with your manager right now, I think there's question marks over Maresca's consistency. I'm not saying he's a bad manager. I'm saying that it feels like one week he can be doing a masterclass and Chelsea look fantastic. The following week, this is happening. They can't break Sunderland down and they're conceding in the end of the game. But he's a championship manager that brought his team up through promotion. I'm talking about Enzo Maresca. He's then moved over to Chelsea and seen some success there. We've then got Regis Labrie doing the same now for Sunderland, sticking with his club, bringing Sunderland up into 4th. The flip side of that is a team like West Ham, who we've seen them already have to lose one manager. They've brought in Nuno Santos. I think he's jumped into that job role very quick from the Forest move. And this West Ham, like the start they've had to this season is their worst opening season in decades. Leeds took chances, they defended well, and they won. And West Ham just look lost. They look lost in possession. They look lost out of possession. Their defence just doesn't seem to exist. They've got nothing going forward. I'm really worried for West Ham. I really do think that we've got a situation here in the Prem where Leeds can stay up, where Sunderland definitely stay up, and where Burnley, I think they'll be in and around it, but I honestly think they're going to end up staying up. And I think West Ham are going to go down unless something drastically changes. Yeah,
West Ham's still worrying. Nuno's gone in there. It looks like, I think it was his first game. I think it was away at Arsenal. I think we looked at it and we thought they didn't get pumped. We thought it could be a 5-0 trashing. They came out with a 2-0 loss. It didn't look that bad. So you're thinking, right, he's instilling that structure, defensive structure, as he does with his teams, get some setup at the back, and then they can move forward from there, you know. But it hasn't looked like it. Last week, they lost to Brentford. They could have got less. I think they lost 2-0. They could have got pumped. They could have been 5. They were flattered to come out about it being 5, you know. In the weekend, again, they're just leaking goals. And it's just, I don't know. I listen to a lot of phone-ins and stuff, and I'm hearing fans saying he's doing things like playing Carl Walker-Peters on the left back, playing the right back on the opposite side, just to try different things. And I'm saying to myself, I know they say he sounds crazy, but what was going on before is not working. So he's trying different things. I can't blame him for that. It's not working before, so he's got to try different things. It might seem a bit unusual, but he's trying different tactics, trying different things out, different players, different positions to try and get the best out of them. But it doesn't seem to be working. And I'm quite shocked because normally Nuno, okay, he had a little spell at Tottenham. Besides Tottenham, he normally gets his message across and gets the team structured quite quickly. And it hasn't seemed to happen at West Ham. Is it more than just, is it deeper than what we see, just a player, just a squad? Because we're sitting there thinking, we've been saying from the beginning of the season, they've got no legs in the midfield. But they can't defend, like you said, they've got to defend set pieces. There's so many other things besides no legs in midfield. They can't score goals. There's not much creativity there. There's so many aspects of problems there, you know?
Yeah. I don't know how deep it goes, but you're saying about the defence, perhaps there is something there. I don't actually know. Coaches, maybe something's gone on in the staff, whether there's issues in training, who knows? But they don't seem to be able to man mark. They can't seem to find themselves in the right positions at any set piece. We've seen crosses go in early in the season. Chelsea beat them 5-0. I think 3 of the goals came from crosses where they just looked lost. They looked like they didn't know whether to head it front, back. They didn't know whether to get a foot on the end, leave it for the keeper. It was bizarre. It just looked awful. And it's a group of lads that have played the whole season together. So they've got real issues because they're coming into this with experience. You bring a player in now in January to try to solid up that defence. Well, there's no cohesion there. It could go backwards. And from where they are is rock bottom. So they can't afford this. They need a new stadium. They've been talking about it now, haven't they? Financially, they're struggling slightly. They need this stuff to happen with their stadium. If they get relegated, this is going to be a massive hit to that club.
There's a lot of discontent within the supporters about the owners. Listen, the owners aren't going anywhere. They just have to get that clear right now. There's no point in moaning or trying to, the owners are staying. It's just get behind your club, support your club. I can see they're unhappy. I remember someone came online on one of our lives last year, end of last season, said they were going to get relegated. And we both laughed. We both said, it's not that bad. I know it was Potter in charge, and we kind of laughed it off. And now they look like they're in a mess. And
it's not good enough.
They've got Max Kilman. He's a £40 million defender. He looks lost. He looks like he's just come up from the Championship. Not being rude. I don't know. It's just worrying. It's a bit of a state. And I feel sorry for their London club, and it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. And I think fair play to Leeds. They're taking advantage of that. They've gone in. They've got 2 early goals. They've settled into the game really well. Yeah, West Ham did pull one back, but I don't think at any point it looked too threatening. I think Leeds, they sort of knew 2-0 up early on against West Ham. Look, who in the West Ham squad right now are you thinking is really cheering them on, getting them going, getting them rolled up to get a foot in that game? I don't know. There's a lot missing from that squad, so it's a shame. And Nuno's gone from Forest, where I think he could have done great things. He probably would have gone on to progress quite far into Europe and stuff. We know that story now has moved on from Nuno. He's been replaced, and his replacement's already been replaced. It's crazy. But talking of Nottingham Forest, obviously, Sean Dyche in charge against Porto midweek, but we played against Bournemouth in just a disappointing game for them and a fantastic game for Bournemouth.
Yeah, Bournemouth did really well. What can you say about Nottingham Forest? I know they won the game in Europe on the midweek, but like you said, it was 2 pens when we discussed it earlier. It was 2 penalties.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's getting any better. You know what? I said to you, I don't know if Sean Dyche is the right appointment. Is he a stopgap?
Yeah.
Sometimes when you get managers come in and people know that they're not going to be that. I'm not saying he's coming as an interim manager. We know he isn't, but you kind of think, sometimes players sit back and think he won't be here next season. And they don't play. They don't play their hearts out because they don't feel like I'm playing for this manager. He's not going to be here next season taking us through,
Yeah.
Sean Dyche, we know he's a good manager. We've said it before, but let's put the scenario together. What if they're still in the bottom 3 in January, 10th of January, they're still in the bottom 3? Does he pull the trigger? It wouldn't surprise me.
Well, from his, as in we're talking about Marinakis, from his so far, his performances as a manager in line with his management, as an owner in line with his management, he pulls the trigger in January if they haven't found anything, because that's what he's done so far. We've seen it twice now. Why would he stop? I do think it's early days for Sean. He's got past experience at Forest. A lot of his staff has got past experience at Forest. They like the club. They're from the club. They've worked with the club in the past.
Yeah.
He's spoken. I watched his interviews when he joined them. He's spoken quite highly of the club, and he's definitely got something in his head, like something he wants to do. It's got to be hard when you've got this owner behind you. But they did beat Porto 2-0. It was 2 penalties, but they didn't concede. They've played Bournemouth at Bournemouth. Look, Bournemouth are on fire. Iraola is one of the best managers in the Premier League. That is a game of football you don't want to be playing right now, Bournemouth at home, especially when you're in bad form. You've got really poor defensive record. Of course, you were going to concede goals. We've got to wait and see, I think. Give Sean Dyche a couple more weeks, because as long as there's some positives out of games, they're not going to be in the relegation zone. There's 3 points between Nottingham Forest and Fulham right now. That's 1 win for Forest, and they've leapfrogged Fulham. It's that easy at the moment in the league. It's still early days. We're 9 games in. But if he doesn't find success, then I think you're right. I think Dyche goes in the next 4 or 5 game weeks, honestly. It wouldn't actually surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me. That would be the first club I think they'd have three managers in a season, wouldn't it?
It could be before Christmas.
This is what I mean.
But it actually could. Seriously, it really could be.
See, Edu comes in and he wants to play flamboyant football. He wants more flair football. They've got rid of Nuno. The problem is now, I think where Marinakis was thinking, let's get Andrin to win the Europa League. To me, the Europa League is a bad distraction now. They don't need that. They don't need to be worried about the Europa League and their squad thinning out, playing these extra games. I think they should be. What they need is just to focus on Premier League survival, get up the table as high as they can. That's ideally that's what I think they should do. But they're still gonna. You can't be in Europe and not try and not fight. Especially when you've not been in Europe for 25 years. So they have to give it a go for the fans, at least.
Yeah, it's not even the fact that the midweek games. It's where the midweek games are. They had to go to Portugal, come back. Obviously, you're fatigued from that. It's a day travel there and back. Like it takes its toll on the players, and if they're already struggling, you're adding that on top. Yeah, it's not good news. But Iraola's done it again. A bit of luck with that first goal. I don't know if you managed to catch it, but Tavernier scored from a corner.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Matt Sells, honestly, he's gone. He's a different man from last year. I don't know what's happened there, but 2-0. Iraola's done it again. They climb up the table. They're now sat second. They're only 4 points behind Arsenal now. It's ridiculous. You look at the league table right now, and ignoring Arsenal first, you've got Bournemouth, Tottenham Hotspur, Sunderland, then City, United, somehow in 6th, Liverpool are 7th. It's baffling. I don't understand how that table's structured at the moment.
I thought to myself yesterday, the last thing Arsenal thought, they thought they'd be looking down the table at Bournemouth and Tottenham behind them and Sunderland. Can you believe that? And Sunderland are there. Crazy. Yeah. That's crazy. We're talking about people not challenging at the moment. That would be Brentford beat Liverpool 3-2. We thought it was going to be a struggle. I knew it was going to be a struggle. Every game so far in the last 4 we've lost. It's been a struggle. But it's just don't know. It's just they just look lost. They look lost of ideas. They just all look like hungover. They look hungover. Yeah. Everything looks slow paced. Everything just looks bad for the first goal. And like you brought it up a couple of times about Kirk, as you've pointed out. The first goal wasn't his fault, but it was. He kind of missed the header. It was just terrible defending as a whole. To let in 3 goals, not in a disrespectful way, but to Brentford. I thought Brentford would be relegation candidates. I put them down there as one of the ones that could go down. They're doing well. They're picking up wins. Keith Andrews, you've got to give him his credit. He's doing all right. But from a Liverpool point, it's just, it's worrying. It's actually beginning to get worrying now. No wins in 4. Losses, great losses.
I look at Liverpool. I have to be honest with you, Darren, and you know it. I'm not a fan of Liverpool, really. Knowing you, obviously, I get to hear a lot more about Liverpool and things. But I asked you the question last week, I think it was. I said, Slot was rumoured for a new contract. And I said to you, well, why would you want Slot to have a new contract right now? Surely he's got to go and prove it. You said, well, no, you give him the new contract. He's fine. It's only Slot. Like, the success will come. You then... And I'm not saying you're wrong, but you've then lost to Brentford. Now, are you looking at that slightly differently because of not just losing to Brentford, but the way in which you lost to Brentford? You didn't look on the front foot all game and they got a cheeky goal or whatever. I'm not saying it wasn't a dominant performance from Brentford, but they were the better team. They deserved that game. They deserved 3 points from that game. Yeah, so I want to ask you, Daryl, as a Liverpool fan, we have the conversation about Nottingham Forest. What happens if Sean Dyche doesn't get a win until Christmas? What happens if Slot doesn't show performances? I don't think he's not going to win until Christmas. But what you need to see is a change now. You weren't the better team in that game against Brentford. You need to be winning. You need to be getting a couple of wins, and you need to look dominant in games. You're the current title holders. This isn't good enough. I
agree. We need. The only thing I want to see more from the team right now. I want to see more passion. I said against United when we lost. We need more fight. And we need more passion. There's not enough fight in that team, and as a lot of people are obviously slating Kirkes and Andy Robertson when he comes in is a problem. We need to start Andy Robertson. He's our vice captain, and he's not because he's Scottish, but he's got that Scottish bite about him, that fighting spirit, that warrior spirit. We need that in that team. Even if he's a bit of a liability, I think we'll take that to get a bit of bite from him. And he's the type of person that is infectious. It will rub off to the other players. We need fight and passion. I don't know what it is right now. There could be loads of mitigating factors. We know what I'm talking about, but I'm just saying we just need fight. We need to see more. And tactically, we're missing Luis Diaz. We're missing a ball carrier. We're missing someone that takes your team from 20 yards near your own box to 20 yards forward. And he did that so well last season for us. We need a ball carrier. We're missing that ball carrier. And I'm starting to get a bit pissed off with Cody Gakpo. He's just so predictable. You just got to stand on side on and mark him because he's going to cut in on the left-hand side, right-hand side, every single time. I think it's we give Rio a chance because guess what, guys? It's not working. We need more. We need to try something different. I want to see Andy Robertson back in the team. I want to see Frimpong as an attacking right back because at the moment we've got no attacking prowess. Salah's quiet. Gakpo's quiet. He's bought Frimpong, one of the best attacking wing backs in the world in my eyes. But he's not playing him. Okay, he's come a couple of games ago, he got a hamstring injury. Even with Connor Bradley, though, he's playing him very withdrawn as a right back. Let him go forward. Let him help Mo. The attack is not working, so you need to change it. To me, I'm getting too much of the same. So against United, it was the same. There's no passion.
You need to see a change in the game.
It needs to be incisive. It needs to be more incisive passing, quicker, snappier. Let's move it, pass and move. I don't know. It's just the team. Everyone just looks hungover, and it's pissing me off. We've lost 4 in a row. We need to be better than that. We need to be challenged with just flipping Premier League titles. Pissing me off, honestly.
I think the best news you could have had this week was that if Arnie Slot is to be released 5, you're already aware that Brendan Rodgers has just left Celtic. So,
please, are you? Lee, I told you before, mate, you're a funny guy.
Everything happens for a reason, Daryl. A lot of the times, managers resign so that they can move to clubs quick. The chat's already happening. Brendan Rodgers is in Liverpool.
Not this.
You bring him back.
Do not. There's no chance. Hell's bells. I'll tell you that, mate. Don't worry about that.
Brendan Rodgers and Rafa Benitez are going to be knocking on that office door. You're going to have to pick one of them.
We don't sack managers like that. But listen, to be on a serious note, the contract talks we've heard have been put on hold at the moment. They're on the back burner at the moment. It's funny because after the game, you text me straight away and you were like, do you still trust him? And straight away I text back, of course, didn't I? I was like, yeah, of course. He's not getting sacked. As the days go on and you sit there and we spoke today again and you put that scenario towards me, what if we get to Christmas and we're like 8th or 9th?
Yeah.
And you're sitting there thinking there's Champions League money to worry about. There's players, the top players, they want to come to the Champions League clubs. Yeah. What do we really do? And I'll be, as a Liverpool fan, we back our managers. We back our managers. The only person I remember trying to, in my eyes, in my lifetime, just trying to feel like I was hounded out was Roy Hodgson. And he was terrible, but we normally stick by our managers, but after spending the money that we did, after winning the title last year, I think he's got credit in the bank. But like you said, if we're 10th in January, I wouldn't be surprised if something's getting looked at because just for the better of the club, you know?
Yeah. I think, like we have said, it's early doors. You have won 5 out of 9. You just haven't drawn any games. So it does skew it slightly because it's just 5 wins, 4 losses. So when you do look at the teams above you, there's United and City are the same as you. They've just drawn 1 and then lost 1 less. So it's not, you're 7th, but you're close to 4th. Like, it's not 29
It's not as bad as it
games
looks,
into the
4 losses
season,
in a row, relegation form, you know,
but it is bad form, and you haven't seen drastic changes. If anything, the Brentford game kind of reinforced the fact that there's question marks and they're not being answered, which isn't good enough. Yeah, you said it yourself, Daryl. Brentford played well against Liverpool, and fair play to them, because we thought that they were relegation candidates. They're sat 11th in the table now. They look good against you guys. They've looked good throughout the season, to be honest with you. And I think for them, this was a bit of a season where they're going to have to sit there, take a mid-table finish. I mean, if they don't go in the relegation zone with the amount of losses they've taken to their staff and their club in terms of their players, then fair enough to them, because that's a big hit to take, and they're doing very well with it.
Yes, talking about a manager that he's doing quite well at the moment, and it hurts me to say it, Ruben Amorim. God, they beat Brighton with a good victory, 4-2. Since they got that win at Anfield, that's just basically given them the confidence to just take the game onto another level. It looks like that win cemented them, gave them belief and confidence within themselves to go on. There was that 3 game unbeaten now, 3 games, 3 straight wins, I should say.
It's 3 straight wins.
For a Liverpool fan.
It is. Well, it's worrying for a lot of people, because a lot of people probably said that United weren't going to be not as good as they currently are, because, like you say, it's only 3 straight wins, but they looked good against Brighton. Brighton did look poor towards the end, bit of an error-prone game of football for them. But, United took the lead early. They were 2-0 up before half-time. And I've got something funny for you, though, Daryl. In that game of football, there was a record broken.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily broken or just a new record's in place. James Milner assisted the Brighton Greek player Kostalos, I think it is, Kostalas. Did you know that James Milner's senior football career started before he was born? He's assisted a player that is so young he wasn't born when Milner started his senior career. Apparently never happened in the Premier League.
That's crazy. Do you know what's even more worrying, Lee?
What?
I remember James Milner making his debut. I watched it for Leeds as an 18-year-old. I watched him as an 18-year-old making that debut. I'll never forget. I remember him. Gee,
that day when he made that debut, this Brighton youngster wasn't born, and he's gone and assisted him. So we know Milner's obviously breaking these records of the oldest player and whatnot, and he's playing well still. Like, he's getting assists. I think he'll be here next season. I think he's definitely got another year in him. So yeah, maybe you need him back at Liverpool. Who knows where he's going to go? But I think
take James Milner back in a heart. He's one of the ones that actually I wish did stay, but he wanted to go and play. But respect him for that. He's getting on quite of his career. But I would love Milner in the squad right now. He's a type of player that if you have him in the squad, there's certain things that's going on out there that he wouldn't allow to happen. You know, that leader. Yeah. He would be like, boys, sort this out. This is not happening. You know, we're champions. Let's sort it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, love Milner. But your boy Danny Welbeck.
My boy Danny Welbeck, he scored another goal, and he does look good, like on and off the ball. It's not.
He does. I watched him. I watched him. He does.
What else? Right. What else can a goal scorer do to get in the England squad behind Harry Kane? I'm not saying he's over Harry Kane. What I'm saying is, if you want a goal scorer that can come on and score a goal on the 70th minute onwards, why isn't it Danny Welbeck? He does it in the Premier League week in, week out. He's the best goal scorer in the Premier League, English goal scorer in the Premier League.
I totally agree. I don't see why he wouldn't be in the squad. I'll tell you what, if he gets in the squad, we're going to all pitch in and get you a Danny Welbeck top, England top.
I want it. I want it.
The PC team, all right? We're going to get that for you as a present, okay? You got to wear it, though, right? First of the World Cup. I want to see it every game. You got to wear it, right?
Wear it every day, Daryl.
Love that. Okay. Arsenal Crystal Palace, Arsenal won 1-0. I was at the game. It wasn't much of a spectacle, to be honest with you, but Arsenal got the win. It wasn't actually a direct set piece. It bounced back out and they smashed it in. But it wasn't as easy as it looked. 1-0 to the Arsenal, but in first half, Palace could have taken the lead. In first 25 minutes, Palace could have been 1 or 2-0 up. But you know, it's same as Fulham, the same game as Fulham. If you don't take your chances, you're not clinical enough, they'll punish you. So they got the win. They're clear at the top.
Yeah, I think there's a question that is going around the internet and it kind of like splits opinions between pundits and fans and everyone. But right now, for me, and you went to the game, so you definitely saw it, Arsenal, for me, are very boring because I feel they heavily commit for the set pieces. They're not trying to make build-up play to create goals. What they're actually trying to do is get the ball up the pitch to win set pieces, whether that's free kicks, throw-ins, corners. The way in which they're currently playing football, to me, is very like, it's boring, it's non-entertainment, but it's really just, effective. I don't know, they're really sucking. Yeah, it's so, they're just sucking it out of the football. But I understand that in doing so, they're winning. So in your opinion, what do you think about this style? Because I've seen a lot of people compare it to like Jose Mourinho's Chelsea, park the bus. The thing for me is that is Jose Mourinho. I know he's not Italian, but he's a very Italian manager in his style. He worked well in Italy, and this whole Catenaccio, the defensive sort of tactical style, that is Mourinho. People compare the way Arsenal play right now to Conte. Well, guess what? He is an Italian manager. So it is a style in Italy, and you do see it quite a lot in Italy where it's very like defensive. Before you answer, I have got another counter argument that I know people have said, but they say, well, what about Pep? What about Pep? The teams used to sit back against Pep when, after the title winning seasons, and they would sit back and Pep would have to break them down. But Pep broke them down. They would sit back, Pep would break them down and score, and then break them down again.
It came that way, though, didn't it? Because at first it was free flow, and then everyone started sitting back, so then you got to play a different way to break it down. So it changed.
But he wasn't trying to win corners and score, because Arsenal this season, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's something along the lines of 5 goals in open play and the rest from set pieces.
Yeah.
It's madness. But yeah, what's your opinion on this defensive, in my opinion, very anti-football play? And is it good enough that they're winning? Does that counteract the fact that the football's not entertaining?
I'll be like I said, it wasn't a spectacle. I'll be honest, the football's not great, but I think as a fan base, I think they've been so starved of success, especially a league title where we spoke on a live about this a few months ago, where we spoke to a really passionate Arsenal fan, and what he said was, I said the same thing. I said Arsenal are boring to watch, and he said, we've seen us be entertained and don't win anything. So I think as a fan base, they'll prefer to win it ugly, get the trophy, celebrate, and say, look, we've won the Premier League, we're champions, more than we play entertaining, flamboyant football and win nothing. And sometimes it is nice when I suppose if they're winning every year, then you want to see it getting better. But because they haven't won a Premier League trophy for 20 plus years, they'll be happy and they will take it. Funny thing, you talk about the set piece, because I got to give them credit, because they've got this like a song, like a chant. So when they scored the goal, I'm laughing because it made me chuckle. When they scored the goal, I heard there's something bellowing from behind. I looked around, and then they've got this chant that they say, it goes like, set piece again, set piece again. So I was actually laughing with them, because it's like they know they do it, but they've kind of, everyone's taking a piss, kind of accepted it, embraced it, and made a song about it. It was actually quite funny. I looked around at my mate, I was like, oh, and he was like, yeah. It was, what? I had to listen to it 2 or 3 times for him to say it. It was like, set piece again, and I just kept on repeating it. And listen, like I said, they've embraced it. They take 1-0 to the Arsenal. And Lee, I think they'll be happy to get the trophy. And I'll be honest, being around the stadium, it was nice. It was a big buzz. Everyone's lively. Everyone's upbeat. I've always said it to you before. I'm a football fan. I'm a Liverpool fan, massive Liverpool fan. But I'm a football fan. Being around that, being the buzz outside the ground, inside the ground, constantly singing, it's nice. It was a nice atmosphere. I'll be honest with you. I'm a Liverpool fan. It was still a nice atmosphere being amongst fans, football fans, you know what I mean? Singing, they were singing, cheering. So, yeah, credit to them. But big up to the song, because as much as they're getting it, they're just running with it, making a joke out of it, and running with it. You would have laughed if you was there. It was quite.
I would have been quite entertaining.
It was.
All right, I'll put you on the spot with a question quickly then from your answer. What if Arsenal don't win this year playing this football?
Then it would be very disappointing, because I think then you'd kind of feel that as much as you've done well in the last couple of years, playing really well and coming close. So if you play not so entertaining football and don't win it, I think that feels like a step back. It feels like you've digressed a little bit, you know? So I think that's a major thing. If they don't win it, then the fans will be thinking, look, we've spent all this money. We've come so close playing flamboyant. I remember, listen, a couple of years ago, I remember thinking, oh my God, we're playing Arsenal. We're going to have Martinelli on one side, bombing it down. We're going to have Saka on the other side. It's scary. Now, you don't get that feeling from playing Arsenal. It's a lot more conservative. But like I said, they're getting wins and they're putting points on the board, Lee. So what can we say?
No. I think if they win, they win. And a win's a win. Like, it doesn't matter. I can't say anything bad. If Fulham won the league 1-0 every game from a set piece, I would never complain. Like, a win's a win. But if they don't,
maybe you can nick the song. You guys can nick the song and start singing it.
Carol, we don't score from set pieces. We don't score in open play. We don't score in set pieces.
Oh God, that's funny. All right, that wraps up the Premier League. But listen, I want to talk about something a bit different. Let's talk about Hearts in the Scottish Premier League. They beat Celtic 3-1 on the weekend. Yep. Celtic are in a mess. Rangers are in a mess. Hearts are 8 points clear at the top. Can they go and win it, Lee? Can they hold on?
Absolutely they can, because they just won that game 3-1. Those that don't know, the Scottish League divides towards the end of the season. It splits in half for a promotion and a relegation, sort of like half and half. So they will replay Celtic 2 times again. So they'll play the reverse fixture in this season. Then when the league splits, they play them again. Honestly, that's the only time you could see maybe 6 points dropping. Is the home game, like, you know, possibly because Rangers aren't in it anymore. Rangers have so much work they need to do that I just can't see where that comes from. And they're on the high of highs right now, 8 points clear. I can see where 6 points get dropped. Well, that's 2 points clear. They've made they've leapfrogged so far so early that they have the ability to drop form for like 3 weeks and they're okay.
I would love them to win it, just to break that monopoly of Rangers and Celtic constantly winning it. And I think it would be good for the league as a whole.
Oh, definitely.
Just everyone looking around the world, looking at that league, thinking there are other people there challenging, winning as well, you know. It would be really good. I think it would be great if they can win it. Question for you. I know you know your stuff. When was the last time a team broke that monopoly and won it? If it wasn't Rangers and Celtic.
Well, it was Sir Alex Ferguson.
It was
at Aberdeen, and it was 40 years ago. I've seen. So 1985 season.
85.
It was 85. He won it, obviously, as we all know, which then eventually got him the job at United, which I think is interesting because we've got a manager currently sat there in the Scottish League who, if he wins it, where's he going to end up? Could it be the next Sir Alex Ferguson? Could he end up making his way to the Premier League and becoming a great manager? Is that why you do it? Do you have to go to Scotland and win it with one of the other teams?
It happens. Or what happens is he'll win it at Hearts and they'll say, well, Rangers will nick him to come and that's what normally happens. That's the step up, you know, in those over there. Obviously we spoke about Brendan Rodgers leaving earlier. Have you heard who's been installed as one of the favourites?
No.
Your mate. Big Ange. No, seriously, he has. And I heard it on the way home. I heard Celtic fan came on. He says he would love Ange to get the job.
No,
he totally changed when he was there. He changed. I think the guy said he's mid-30s. That's the best football he's ever seen Celtic play. Totally changed the ethos. Brought in these Japanese players, and that was the best football he's ever seen him play. He's been watching him for 20 odd years. He wants him back. And
he should go then. He needs to go. He needs to get on a flight with me right now. We're going over tomorrow. I'm flying to Scotland. He can come with me, and I'll put him in a taxi, and he can go over there and have a word because he needs to go and sort himself out. What he's done in the Premier League is just awful, honestly.
Oh,
he must have one of the worst Premier League records as a professional, like as a manager.
After those losses with Tottenham,
and Tottenham's season in the Premier League.
Yeah, it must be real bad. We have to look it up next week, maybe.
Yeah,
crazy, but yeah, that was fun. What was your highlight of the week, Lee? Tell me.
I'll be honest. It makes me feel sick to say it, but my highlight of the week is Manchester United's third win in a row. Amorim ball. Maybe does it work? Who knows? Casemiro scored. Has football left him? We'll find out, I'm sure. But yeah, United are back in form. They're sixth in the league. Who knows? Title push.
Yes.
What about you, Daryl? Your moment or player of the week?
Do you remember when we first started doing this? I couldn't stop saying Liverpool moments. Do you remember that? We're far gone past that.
Yeah, I was going to say there wasn't a moment, was there?
No, it wasn't. Of course not. No, my highlight of the week was Sunderland winning at Stamford Bridge. As you know, they're the podcast second team, and they're doing us proud. Listen, since we did the Regis Libri manager insight, we've looked into the team a lot more, and the more and more I look at him, the more and more I see them play, him as a person, him as a manager, the way he speaks, the way he conducts himself. I'm just impressed about the whole package, the whole club as a whole. So yeah, that was my highlight. Sunday win at the Bridge, 93rd minute winner.
Absolutely.
Love it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wicked. All right, then, Lee, thanks for jumping on today. Appreciate it.
All good. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Guys, thank you, everyone, for listening. Please like and share the podcast. Please click on the notification button so the podcast comes straight through to you. And thank you very much for all the support you send us on all our platforms. We really appreciate that. And we'll catch you next week. Thanks a lot, guys.
See you later.